Todd Barclay.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Well, I'll eat my hat. Mr Prosser, New Zealand First, saying they support foreign investment. That's fantastic. One more time, Mr Prosser, New Zealand First supports foreign investment. It's a privilege to be able to speak on the Agricultural Compounds and Veterinary Medicines Amendment Bill, second reading, Mr Speaker. It was quite an interesting bill to hear submissions on in Select Committee because it was quite a unanimous, not a fully unanimous view, but there was a strong steer that we got from industry and the participants who came to present to us around the direction that the bill should be heading and the large levels of support that it had. So, as we know, Mr Speaker, the bill extends the period of protection for confidential information given in support of an application to register an innovative trade name product from 5 years to 8 years. One of the recommendations that the committee put forward following the submissions, Mr Speaker, was to extend that to 10 years' time. We think that it strikes the right balance, as has been remarked by a number of members so far, between incentivising the registration of products that our primary sector needs and encouraging competition in the agricultural workplace, Mr Speaker, and marketplace indeed as well. My electorate, the electorate of Clutha Southland, is a significant food producer. A significant part of our local economy is primary industries, agriculture, food production, whether that's crops, whether it's animals, into meat produce. And the thing is that our producers say the same as every, producer in the primary sector across the country, and that is that the sector flourishes when competition is enabled and when we've got the right protections in place to be able to protect our brand internationally, but also to incentivise homegrown innovation in this space, Mr Speaker. And the government, across a various array of disciplines, has been heavily focused, particularly over the last 6 years, in trying to incentivise investment in New Zealand. And if you look at the primary growth partnerships and the Sustainable Farming Fund managed by the Ministry for Primary Industries, there are a number of examples within that incentivise innovation in New Zealand, Mr Speaker. I think to remark on one of the points that the Green member just mentioned, for a strong supporter of the organic sector, he neglected to acknowledge that the organic sector stands to benefit quite considerably from the changes that have been set out in this piece of legislation, Mr Speaker. And there were participants from that sector that contributed towards some of the recommendations that the committee has put forward and being debated today, Mr Speaker. As I say, we got a pretty clear steer from submitters, and both sides of the industry, suppliers and users of these products, all were concerned that before this bill was introduced, that the current data protection level wasn't sufficient and actually inhibited registration of the latest technologies, Mr Speaker. And that was also backed up by a government review which found that the incentives weren't as strong as what they could have been in order to incentivise innovation in agricultural compounds and veterinary medicines in New Zealand. So it was a privilege to have sat in on those submissions and to have heard from our submitters, and I'd just like to acknowledge the other members of the committee, acknowledge the Minister for bringing this bill, and also acknowledge the people that took the time to come and submit to Select Committee to make this bill even better. So thank you very much.